What's up, everyone? Jason Gilbo here with Nick Tasso, taking a look at some GPP bets for today's slate. You got 15 games, above average pitching. I mean, we got Kershaw going, Carrasco, Lester, Cueto. So, I mean, a lot of notable names going tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to be a completely fun one putting together some hitters tonight, but I think there's some weak guys out there that we can kind of attack.
Yep. Looking at catcher here, I know Jet Bandy was a guy you were taking a look at, or Pena, just kind of depending on who's in the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. You're never really sure with Milwaukee here, but whichever one I'm fine with putting in. They're still priced pretty cheap, and going up against Biagni, I'm not really expecting much out of him. It's a bad ballpark for pitchers, and he has a 6 ERA on the road. So I definitely like one of those two guys, whoever finds their way in the fifth or sixth hole.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you there. I mean, they've been solid production all year and still on the cheaper side. I think trying to find some cheaper guys is going to be the key to this slate just because of the arms going. And with that being said, I mean, I might take a look at Sandy Leone. He's really cheap, and Cashner's been a guy who's due for some regression and allowing a ton of hard contact to both sides of the plate. So Leone at a cheap price, I might toss in just to save some cash.
Yeah, absolutely. On that token too, I'm doing the same kind of thing in Cincinnati. I know it's not a great pitcher to attack, but I don't mind throwing in either Mesoraco or Barnhart. They're both pretty cheap than most other guys on this slate. So I don't mind either one of those if you need a punt option.
And if you were looking to pay up, I know Lucroy was a guy you don't mind, which Rick Porcello, I mean, has not been kind of the same self he was last year.
No, not at all. And you look at Luke Roy, he's on a 9-game hitting streak right now. Fenway Park, if he pulls the ball, he definitely hit one over the Green Monster. And like you said, Rick Porcello has really struggled all year. I have absolutely no faith in him against this Texas offense, even though they're away from Arlington.
Yep. Francisco Cervelli, got to take a look at. R.A. Dickey, I mean, 381 Woba to righties. Cervelli's not going to be hitting the top line, but he should be hitting about 6th or 7th. Still on the cheaper side, I don't mind. Once again, just kind of throwing, I mean, Pirates have a near 5-run total going up against Dickey. So I'll take some shots given the fact that their prices are really cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see that going down. I mean, catcher for the most part, you don't really expect too much production out of there. So sometimes just look for a little bit cheaper guys or guys in good spots like Cervelli.
Yep. Moving on to first base. This is kind of one where I'm going to try and pay up at, but I mean, if not, there are some cheaper options. I don't mind Kendrys Morales, 4K on DraftKings, going up against Jimmy Nelson, who's always struggled against lefties. You look at Morales, I mean, 347 Woba, over 200 ISO, and on the cheaper side.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. Obviously, there are some top plays here like Goldschmidt. But my top play in that same ballpark would be Jose Abreu. He's been on fire lately and now hitting in a really good ballpark against a mediocre lefty, I would say. I definitely like Abreu's chances here. Hit over 400 Woba against lefties this year. So I definitely like him in this matchup.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you. I like Abreu a ton. He's going to be a guy that I certainly like to pay up for. On the Red Sox training game, Mitch Moreland, coming off a really nice series in Oakland, moving back to Fenway Park. Once again, going up against Cashner, I don't mind using him just because he is on the cheaper side. And he's just been absolutely crushing right-handed pitching. On the month, over 200 ISO, hitting 340 Woba. I'll continue to kind of take a look at him.
Yeah, multiple home runs coming in Oakland, so that's definitely a good sign for him because he was trailing off a little bit going into their last road trip. So I don't mind playing him there. Like you said, Cashner really isn't a good arm. He's had some decent starts, but definitely not a guy you can rely on. One guy I want to keep a huge eye on is Jay Bruce. He's also outfield eligible in certain spots. But going up against Chacin, it's just Chacin's been really bad away from Petco, has a 8.77 ERA, and to lefties 345 Woba. So actually a lot of Mets are in play for me tonight.
Yep, no, I'm definitely with you. Chacin does have those notable home road splits. I'm curious with the Cleveland bats. Carlos Santana, Edwin Encarnacion, both priced down a little bit. I mean, Encarnacion's been struggling. Amir Garrett has been certainly serviceable, but starting to kind of get blown up a little bit more. He's allowed 6 home runs to righties, 3.35 WOBA. This might be a good spot for some home run potential, just given the fact that it's a good ballpark. And they're also, a full 1,000 cheaper than guys like Goldschmidt, a little bit cheaper than Abreu as well.
Yeah, I agree with you there. You look at guys like Garrett, and they come onto the scene with not many people seeing them, and then slowly, once you get some tape on them, they start to unravel, especially if they see him a couple times in the game. So I definitely like those plays there.
Second base, good spot for some of these guys tonight. I don't mind Jason Kipnis in a lefty-lefty matchup either. Leading off, I think he's definitely going to get lower ownership. Last night he was at sub 10%, which is a little bit surprising against Feldman.
Yeah, totally. He is in a decent spot. Obviously, not ideal at times, and I know Kipnis has been your guy lately. I think he might garner a little bit lower ownership rate as well, so I don't mind him. My top guy would be Daniel Murphy. He's just been on a really good pace this year, over 400 WOBA. Bergman's actually 400 WOBA to lefties this year. Actually, my notes are all messed up. 400 WOBA totally, and then Bergman himself has looked good, but it's a very small sample size. It's a good ballpark for Murphy. Clearly, he's been on a tear and can hit there, so I definitely like him in this spot.
Yeah, I'm always a big fan of Murphy. Neil Walker, as you touched on with the lefties for the Mets, another one there. 3,800 on DK, nice price tag for him. Starting to come around a little bit more. Even on the other side, I don't mind the Padres. DK completely priced them down. Will Myers completely skipped over. I'd be fine with him at first base for 4K. Just given the fact that Harvey's just been average at best.
Yeah, and I got the feeling that Harvey's mindset really isn't there anymore, especially with the Mets. So I like that play there. I do have another guy for the Padres who we can talk about a little bit later, but it is an intriguing and kind of contrarian play because you'll see that not many people like to roster Padres hitters.
No, they don't. I think tonight's a night we can look to do so. Dustin Pedroia's the guy you're taking a look at.
Yeah, Pedroia's got at least one hit in 16 of his past 18 games. He really hasn't been himself. He's getting older. Obviously, last year I think was an aberration. But against Cashner, and Pedroia definitely knows how to hit at Fenway Park. I definitely will take my chances with him, and he's under 4K on DraftKings, which is kind of a nice price for him.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely
second in the order.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you. I think trying to find that value, those mid-tier bats, is kind of the name of the game today.
Yeah, and one last guy too was Josh Harrison for Pittsburgh. He's looked pretty good at the plate. This is in a little bit better of ballpark than Turner Field was last year, and he's going up against R.A. Dickey, who we all know righties can hit knuckleballers pretty well. So I like Harrison here too.
Yep, I'm definitely cool with that. Moving on third base. I know you were taking a look at Ryan Schimpf, third base eligible now, really cheap.
Yeah, that's that cheap guy. Yep. And I'm going down that Matt Harvey narrative, so I don't mind him here. He could. Obviously it's not a great ballpark in New York, but you know what? At the end of the day, you got people can still do some damage DFS wise in ballparks that aren't conducive to home runs.
Yeah, no, definitely with you. He definitely comes in as a cheap play that I'll be tossing in, my Kershaw lineups, trying to get some big home run potential in. I don't mind. It depends if Jose Reyes is in the lineup. Him at third base would be fine with me, or even TJ Rivera. Just go once again, I think this game is going to be a little bit sneaky for offense, just given that there are two below average right-handers. And I know Citi Field's not the best, but warmer weathers, it definitely helps.
Yeah, I can see that, and I think Rivera is a sneaky play too, just because you're going to have a lot of focus on those straight up left-handed guys like Conforto, Bruce, and Walker. So I like Rivera if he's hitting high in the order.
Anyone else you're taking a look at third base?
If you have the salary cap, I would definitely say Jake Lamb, but I know it might be hard to fit him in. He's just looked very good lately. 421 batting average with 4 home runs over his past 10 games, overall a 458 WOBA against righties this year, and it is Chase Field, so I definitely think it's going to be a high scoring game there.
Yeah, with Dylan Covey on the hill, I mean, I love the Arizona bats. It's just going to be a matter of fitting them in.
Yeah, and another guy too would be Travis Shaw. Going back to what I said about Toronto starter, you look at Shaw and he's just hit the ball really well this year. It's a good ballpark, and the starting pitcher is kind of not the best.
Yep. Jose Ramirez, I got to take a look at. Slumping a little bit as some of these Indians bats are, but still on the cheaper side, hits lefties well. Still in that lineup, there's going to be plenty of chances for him to kind of drive in some runs. So I think given his price, I'll be taking a look at him. And I think Indians are actually somewhat underpriced for this matchup.
Yeah, I can see that there. I think Ramirez is in a good spot. I mean, he doesn't hit the highest in the order that I typically like, but fifth isn't too bad. So I don't mind playing him. He is priced nicely, like you said, on this slate.
Shortstop, this is definitely going to be a spot where I look to pay down. Once again, Freddie Galvis, I'll take a look at if he's hitting second in the lineup. Looked at him yesterday. It was a tougher matchup. Take a little bit easier. He's just kind of more of that salary relief, but does have some potential against right-handed pitching.
Yeah, this is one of those positions where I'm probably just bypassing. I do have two guys that I like in good spots, Carlos Correa and Tim Anderson, but that's only if you can fit them. Other than that, I'm going basically what you said, somewhere down below salary-wise, like Freddie Galvis.
Yeah, I like Tim Anderson. I mean, always a fan of using him against lefties. It's been very solid against him in his career.
Yeah, both in good ballparks, good matchups. I know we haven't talked about Jordan Zimmerman or at all, but he has been atrocious, and those Astros bats should be in play. But like you said at the start, it's going to be tough, really making lineups with a bunch of good hitters just because of the pitching.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about there are some Houston outfielders I do like, and we can talk about Zimmerman and how bad he's been. Um, if we're looking elsewhere, I mean, it really is tough to kind of figure out. I mean, I might take a look at maybe like a Jorge Polanco or something like that for the Twins. But for the most part, this is a position where I just want to see where lives come out and what shortstop's really in the best spot.
Yeah, it is pretty tough down there when you go really below salary wise and trying to find someone. So I agree with you. Wait till lineups are out and then make your decision.
Outfielder, you and I were on the top guy, Charlie Blackmon going up against Zach Eflin. And Blackmon's just one, he's on a real roll right now. Absolute stud in and outside the cores, too.
Totally. I know we talked about what was on Friday about the Rockies, how they didn't make our stacking thing and then they went off. So
Yeah.
definitely like Blackmon here at the top of the lineup. It's still a good ballpark, even though it is in Colorado. But I mean, he's expensive, but I think he's definitely worth it here.
Yeah, no, I do too. And I don't even mind Cargo. I'm starting to come around double-digit DK points in the last 4 games. And you get him at 4,200 on DK, still cheap on FanDuel as well. I don't mind going that route just given the same matchup.
Yeah, I can see that. A lot of guys in this matchup against Eflin are in play for me.
Yep. And with those Astros bats, I mean, I don't mind the cheaper outfielders of Josh Reddick and Carlos Beltran. I mean, Zimmerman's been absolutely awful. 396 WOBA to lefties, 49% hard contact rate. I don't mind stacking the Astros, and I like even the one-offs, and especially those outfielders. I mean, those are both nicely priced guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Those two guys, if I need to save some salary wise, but guys in good matchups, those are two guys I'd go down in roster with just because they do have a lot of potential. They're not always the best hitters, but you don't really need that right now against Jordan Zimmerman.
No, definitely don't. And, I know you had a couple pay-up options. You like the Judge.
Yeah, I feel like I'll just go through my guys real quickly. But like you got Aaron Judge up there, and he's just crushing the ball. Conforto is in a really good matchup, and I don't even mind Corey Dickerson, who has really turned it on recently. But Dickerson's kind of expensive for me. I like him because he's one of my guys for a long time now. But two names that really kind of jumped out at me price wise, and they're not even that low. It's just the fact that all these other guys are priced so much higher. Would be Nelson Cruz and Stanton. those two guys really they're kind of in the mid tier pricing it, and I think those are two guys who might get overlooked tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely true, and definitely good matchups. I mean, I think Jacob Turner, I mean, he had a decent start his first time out, but his overall numbers in his career have not been good. Seattle bats, I mean, are kind of sneaky here.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we didn't talk about any of them, but I really don't mind them here. And like you said, they're priced pretty good too. So kind of throw them in and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if we're looking elsewhere, I mean, um, I don't mind some of the Braves, outfielders against Glass now, who just hasn't shown it. Um, and is stolen base prone, blow up prone. I mean, Kemp's been on fire. I don't mind Markakis or even Inside Arte at cheap prices. Even a Matt Adams, I mean, who homered yesterday. I mean, I'm definitely okay with attacking Glass now here.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And one other guy that I'd probably throw out there would be Bonifacio for the Royals. He's not really priced uh, extremely low, but he's kind of in a nice price range where no one really will pay up for him because he's still kind of high on DraftKings. But going up against the lefty, he's shown pretty good power, and I don't think Montgomery for the Yankees has a good chance in this game.
No, I definitely think the Royals are, have some bats that are worth using. Bonifacio is certainly one of them. As far as other outfielders go, I mean, this is another position where I think you can take a look, get some value. Like Gregor Blanco, I don't mind if he's hitting leadoff for the Diamondbacks again. As you said, those Marlins outfielders are really cheap. I know, they don't have a decent run total or the ballpark's not that great, but those are still good hitters.
Yeah, I think this is similarly like shortstops. I think you can pick one of your outfield guys, take one of the high expensive priced guys, and then kind of see where everyone else sort of fits in with your lineup because there are so many options in the outfield, like always.
Anyone else you want to sneak in?
No, I think that's all I got. I mean, to be honest with you, it's really a wait and see game, especially if you do get a lower price guy like Gregor Blanco to be put in the lineup in a good spot. So I think you might see a couple guys who are a little bit lower owned in good spots, and you just have to wait for that.
Yep, I'm definitely with you. So let's wrap things up here. You can head over to DaveFantasyCafe.com, check out our great tools and content.